Good day. This is Munir Ajam with another video for our youth. I usually have been posting these videos, although we are just starting with this is the third video. I've been posting them on Saturday. Today I am a day behind schedule, so forgive me. I've been debating what to talk about today, and I have too many topics to talk about. So I will at least record now one. Obviously, every time we're gonna focus on a topic. And today's focus is going to be on drugs, alcohol, substance abuse, sex, and those interesting or tough subjects that potentially a young man or woman going into college, especially if they come from a protected environment, and what would they be facing. We all know as a human we like to experiment, we like to see things, we like to try things. Obviously many of us, some of us maybe don't. And going into college and with the peer pressure and a lot of friends, and obviously colleges are known to be for parties and binge drinking and so many other stories. I don't want to go into the moral of these things. It's not my job, and I'm not trying to be a preacher here. I'm just talking from life experiences and from general knowledge as an advice to my son and an advice to the young generation, regardless who you are, wherever you are in the world. In physics, some of you might not be scientific major, but obviously in physics we learn that every action have a reaction. And in life we can say every action have consequences. And depend on what type of action you are taking, or maybe sometime no action. There are consequences, and those consequences could be positive or negative, depend on what you're doing. And obviously in college, as we go through this and we are around with friends and parties, and it's very easy to get carried away and to binge drink or to consume more alcohol than your body can take. And obviously depend on your mental status and depend on whether you eat or not, or I have no idea about the science of this. People get drunk. Well, if you are in a situation like this, I think you've heard it probably 1,000 times, is don't drink and drive. And don't drink or get into the car with someone who has been drinking, even though they tell you and they are probably showing some sign of control. Usually alcohol, obviously we're not talking about small drink, we're talking about obviously more than a couple of drinks. Alcohol will cloud your judgment and your ability to react to things fast. And obviously there are too many people that are dead or killed as due to drunk driving. You do not want to be a number. You do not want to be in the statistics. Whether as the one who get killed as a result of drunk driving, or whether you are the one who actually was behind the wheel when someone was killed as a result of drunk driving. The bottom line, what I'm trying to say here, and obviously I don't want to talk about everything here, but basically it's the same concept applied to drugs, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, substance abuse, whatever the case might be, and is that the question of being a responsible person. If you like to drink, do it moderately. If you want to experiment with something, I challenge you not to, unless you are one of those people who really can control themselves, that if they experiment something, it's just an experiment once and never do it again. Because if you experiment something and you find it that is really nice, or maybe relieve you of your pain, or you relieve you of your depression or anger, or make me feel wizzy and happy, and then I want to do it again, and then one more time, and all of a sudden you become an addict. And you would be on the road to destroying your future and your life without knowing. So if you are one of those people that know yourself that you have an addictive personality, maybe you shouldn't be experimenting with anything. If you're one of those people who can have good control and you want to experiment, I think some basic stuff, maybe it's okay to experiment. Again, I'm not permitting here because it's not my job to permit you or to encourage you to try or to experiment. I cannot be the moral judge. You have to be your own moral judge to see what's right or what's wrong. Obviously, most religions believe all of these things are sins. I don't want to go into a preacher mode here. I'm not a preacher. I don't care to be. I do not want to be. So I'm just basically sharing maybe how a father feels. So it's important to realize your limitation. So you need to be responsible, and you need to understand and realize your limitation. For example, when it comes to drinking, if you would know your limit. If you drink, if you like to the social drink with your friend, that maybe 2 drinks is enough for you. Maybe you can handle 3 drinks. The point is, do not get to the point where you are becoming a fool, or you're making a fool of yourself, or you're allowing yourself to do something that you would regret later in many ways. Now, how can you regret things later? Well, that maybe I should bring me to the concept of sex. Again, this is something in colleges, it's probably today, especially in many countries around the world. It become very casual. People feel okay. 2 people are attracted, or maybe they like each other or they love each other. Sex become natural, or even without anything. Just maybe you are in a party and the physical body urge gets you there. What you have to be careful here, and I'm talking to my son and to men, young men, is that often they get attracted, or maybe a girl flirt with them, and they try to go maybe to the second base and the third base, and who knows how many bases there are there, and then maybe the girl wake up and said no. And here, if you are in control, if you have not let alcohol or other kind of substance abuse take over your brain, then you will understand no means no, and you will stop, and maybe there is another opportunity or another time in the future, and you have to learn how to respect the no. However, if you've let yourself to be out of control, or maybe you feel like you lose your judgment because maybe you're not thinking straight, and in that case, for you, no means no, and that would be really unfortunate, because if nothing else, you really hurt another person, and maybe on the worst case scenario, maybe you will see some jail time. So we have to understand that. Now I want to move away from this concept and talking about general relationship. Maybe I'll have a dedicated video on that one, but the bottom line is, and I'll end this video with this short message. 2 things I focus over here on: being responsible, and know your limitation. With this, I'll end it. Thank you.